Welcome back to the Amazing Digital Circus Doll series. Today we are working on Ragatha. I used a Self-Care Secrets Abby Vomitable because I really liked her face sculpt. It's like her features are very soft, kind of like a rag doll. And so I took off all her hair and put it in my bag of hair. And then I trimmed the ears and horns off. I didn't fill in the holes where the horns were because I knew that I was going to be going in with yarn and that would give it enough body to hide the holes, and I didn't really want to have to deal with the clay popping in and out, and it's just extra things that I didn't want to do. While this footage is going, I do want to go ahead and shout out another YouTube channel whose name I will put on the screen. She has been making her own series of Amazing Digital Circus dolls. She most recently had an episode where she made the moon, so like she's getting more into like the more like fun like niche characters, and I just love it. She's done the sun and the moon. I don't know what she's doing next, but I'm very excited to see it, and her channel's very underrated, and I feel like since the first video of hers I saw was the Ragatha, that it only felt fair to shout her out in my Ragatha video. Also, yes, that band-aid is from when I slit my finger open working on Jax. Next, I got to work on removing the factory paint with 100% acetone. I really like how they're doing G3's Abby Vomitable, just like everything. I love her sculpt. I love like all her unique features. And something they've done with at least the most two recent releases is they have these little tattoos on the hands that I think are absolutely gorgeous. On the Fear book, she only has them on one hand, so I replaced those hands with the one that I keep in my personal collection. So the Self-Scare has both hands covered in tattoos, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I put those on the one I keep in my personal collection so that I only had to deface one tattoo, because I think that's just way too cool. Also, her face. I've been loving just a lot about how the faces are coming. She's gorgeous. I wish they would give her saran hair, because she is just absolutely gorgeous in every other way. Next, I decided to clip off her fingernails. I think the claw thing is really cool, but alas, I don't think Ragatha does have claws, at least not physically, so I had to get rid of those and did not do the most safe job, so be safe about it and don't do it like I did it. Next, I took her outside and sprayed her body. The weather had been really off for this one, so just a few things I'm going to disclaim here. Even though I tried sealing it after, just the sealing still didn't work, and so a lot of this paint ended up chipping off, and as you can see, I ended up having to go over the face again with a different color, so I ended up just having to repaint the hands as well, because I was just like, okay, look, the only parts of Ragatha that are visible of her skin is the hands and the face. Well, technically the arms, but I made the executive decision to give her a long sleeve dress so I wouldn't have to deal with any more painting. But it was not great. Like, I thought Jax was a nightmare, but I'm literally standing there as the paint is like chipping off in my hands. Another thing I shouldn't have done is paint the face and the body before rooting the hair. If I could go back and do this, I would root the doll's hair, then mask it off and do the painting, because I think that also contributed a lot to it. And also, that's how a lot of, like, the fibers from the yarn got trapped on the face, like, within the paint, because it was still kind of tacky. I probably shouldn't have rushed this one as much. I got way too excited, way too enthusiastic, and went for it. So that's another lesson to be learned here. At the end of the day, I do like how this doll turned out, but I do recognize there are a lot of things I could do better, and can carry on to my next projects. After repainting the skin, I can get on to my favorite part, which is the face up. I use acrylic paint pens because I'm cheap, and I think it's really cool what people are able to do with chalk pastels and everything, but I feel like I can never get it to look as good. And so I just kind of go in with the markers and I'm like, look, we're just laying this out. It like doesn't look as professional and everything, but it suits my needs and I'm happy with it. I recognize it's probably not something that like a potential commissioner would want, which is why I'm not sure if I would ever open commissions. I have had people ask, and strangely enough, this doll is one that people were like asking about, and I'm like, if you guys knew the truth about this process, you would not ask for this. And look, I complain and I hear some people being like, you're too hard on yourself. And like, I agree, but you know, at the end of the day, I do like what I do and I have fun doing it. I need to just verbalize what needs to be fixed for future reference, or it will leave my brain. So kind of documenting this has actually really helped. Like, at first I wasn't sure about the whole YouTube video thing, because I've been doing doll customs off camera, but I feel like I've learned a lot more being able to make the videos, because I can talk through the process more and I can be like, okay, here are the things that work, here are the things that didn't work, versus me just in my brain just watching YouTube mindlessly while working on these, which I still do watch YouTube mindlessly while I'm working on these, but getting to like go over the footage and see what I'm doing and seeing what can be changed and what works, what doesn't. So even if you don't post it, I do recommend, like, if you're working on a craft, to just record yourself working on it, because I've definitely been able to learn a lot more that way. I don't know if that's just my brain, but maybe it works for your brain too. Last up were the shoes, which I used Abby Abominable's Fearbook shoes and painted them black, and we are ready for the grand reveal. So there she is, 4 down, 2 to go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please make sure and visit the channel I mentioned below if you want more digital circus content. Next up is Kinger, and after that we've got Pomni, and the series will be over, so comment what you want to see next. I personally already have a few ideas that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about making a couple Steven Universe dolls, maybe my own version of Skeletor, but for like a Doctor Who villain, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Who says Cybermen can't be fashionable? But that's all I got for today, so see you next time!